All right, guys, welcome back. NFL Week 2 of the Money Backers. First, we'd like to go over our three sponsors to start the show. First being the OG Group over at PickCity.com. Get the best picks over at PickCity.com from some of the best and most respected handicappers in the business. Next can be StatBets, newer sponsor for this year. Team over at StatBets drop some of the best CLV plays in the business. You can get full access into their Discord for as little as $100 today. Head over to statbets.com and start winning now. Our third and final sponsor is going to be playerprofit.com. Ever want to place a big bet but didn't have the funds? Well, the team over at Player Profit allows sports bettors to do just that. Pass their two challenges on playerprofit.com and get funded up to $100,000. It's really that simple. Prove you are a successful sports bettor by passing the challenges, and you can get completely funded. You can keep 70% of everything you make. Head to playerprofit.com and get started and use code GGS for 10% off any package. The code is available multiple times, so if you don't pass your first try, no worries. Use code GGS for 10% off every package. All right, Shane, week 2. We had a great, I wouldn't say great game, but a solid game to start off week 2 in Miami. We both had the Bills, ended up cashing the Bills, taking that game. Even before Tua's injury, pretty easily. Of course, don't want to see Tua get hurt again, but sometimes that's life, and especially life in the NFL. So, what do you take away from week 1 as we head into week 2?
My main takeaway is just to not overreact. Like, it's the first game they've played in months, and there's some teams that are getting like way too hyped or way like thrown away just after a 1 week performance. Week 1, teams are getting the jitters out. So if there's new people coming in, they got to gel, build chemistry and stuff. I would say don't just base everything off of week 1.
Yeah, especially in the betting world, you know, week 1 performances are sometimes pretty lopsided. You're going to see more turnovers, more penalty flags in the first week. A lot of rust. You saw with the Niners and Brandon Ayuk, for example, not catching that pass. That's most likely due to rust and not practicing. It's early, very early. So the scheme or the image is not out on most teams yet. But I think we have a good idea of what our good teams are, what our playoff teams are for the year, what are not. We had that pretty clear going into the season. Yes, there's going to be some surprise teams. There's going to be some surprise bad teams, but that's why we're watching the games. That's why I have week to week. So, all right, let's get right into it. We're going to start off in Baltimore. Ravens taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders coming off a not so pretty performance in LA. But they come in to a 0-1 Ravens team. This line opened up Ravens -8, 8.5. Got all the way up to 9.5, back down to 9, back down to 8.5, back down to 8. You can get anywhere from 8 to a 9, 8, 8.5 to a 9 in this game. Shane, what do you got in this one?
I mean, I feel like you'd have to be crazy at this point just to say the Raiders win this game. Like, I don't like the Ravens are pissed off of last week. They were legitimately an inch away from beating the Chiefs week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Harbaugh's pretty good in week 2, 10-6 ATS. Crazy stat I found. Teams that go from +3 or higher in week 1, the Ravens were +3, to then favored by 7.5 or more are 23-0 straight up and 16-7 ATS since 2016. So getting like a 10-point swing from week to week, the team that becomes heavily favored seems to do really well in that situation. I mean, the Ravens, I think, are just clearly the better team. I'm not putting trust in Gardner Minshew. I'm sorry. He couldn't do anything against the Chargers defense that was putrid for years. I don't think that defense just became solid overnight, even though they have Harbaugh there to help coach. The Ravens can get to a game script where they can lean on Derrick Henry because they couldn't do it last week. They brought in Derrick Henry for this reason. I still think they don't fully trust Lamar's arm. That's why you bring in someone like Derrick Henry to try to take the pressure off of him. I don't see how the Ravens don't win by at least 10. That's just me. I like the under in this game too. I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to score a whole lot. Their running back room is terrible between Zamir White and Alexander Madison. No idea who's the actual starter there. It's hard for me to do anything Raiders wise in this spot. So I'm just gonna ride with the Ravens.
Gotcha. All right, this is gonna be my first VIP play of the day. Set this out last Sunday night when the line opened. We got it at Raiders plus 8.5. I have this game 23-19 Baltimore. I think Raiders defense shows up today. I know the Chiefs had a good defense last week, and we saw Lamar still be able to basically do Lamar. I think Raiders hold them down, so I see a closer game down towards the end of the game. Maybe this is a backdoor cover by Minshew. What I do want to reiterate and remind you is that Minshew beat this team last year with the Colts, straight up. So I'm not saying he's going to win today. I'm not saying that it's going to be even competitive towards the end. But I think it keeps this game close. So, yeah, I have it 23-19 Baltimore. I'll lead the under as well. And, I'm taking the points here. And kind of a weird week 2 must-win game for Baltimore. But I think Antonio Pierce has his team ready to go in week 2 off a week 1 loss. All right. Maybe the weirdest game on the slate. For me personally, this was our free play with the Stat Bets, our team over at Stat Bets on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We gave out Vikings plus 5.5, and this line has dropped a whole point now to Niners minus 4.5, most likely due to a little bit of CMC, and I'm going to guess a little bit of sharp action on Minnesota. This line opened up at, give me a second. This line opened up at 5. Actually, opened up at 7. Before week 1 started. I think last week it changed to about 5.5, 6, and it's now dropped all the way down to 4.5. I kind of agree with the line movement here. I actually have this game much closer than it really is. I have this game 24-22 San Fran. Not liking how the model put out that number. I'm not in love with it. That's why it's not a VIP play for us today. But I do lean the points here at 5. We had at 5.5, it's down to 4.5. And I lean the over 2 of 45. I think we can see some points today. I think Sam Darnold looked pretty good in week 1. Did what he had to do. Obviously, he's playing a much better defense this week in San Fran, coming off a very intriguing win against A-Rod last week. But I think the home field advantage come a little bit into play today. I think Darnold has a lot of confidence in himself. And that offense has a lot of confidence in itself too right now. So I'm gonna take the points here. We had it at 5.5, still like it at 4.5. I think it's a close game down the stretch.
We're gonna be on opposite sides again here.
Okay.
A lot of numbers don't favor the Vikings here. Sam Darnold 1-5 ATS in his last 6 games after a straight up win. In true road games, Shanahan 8-2 ATS with the Niners on short rest, covering by over 7 points. I also just think this is what I was mentioning earlier, classic overreaction. We saw the Vikings put it on the Giants last week, and we think that they can be like a potential 7 seed playoff team. We got to remember Sam Darnold's their quarterback. We got Jordan Addison not playing today. I know CMC's not playing, but we also just saw Jordan Mason wreak havoc against the Jets on primetime. I don't think this Niners team is going to play bad without CMC. I don't know if the Vikings can continue playing like they did last week. Sam Darnold starting the game, 12 for 12? That's not going to happen today. Sam Darnold isn't really a guy to just bomb it down the field a bunch. Tre'Davious Ward's going to have Justin Jefferson. He's not obviously not going to be able to stop him fully, but he's going to be able to contain him a little bit. I just don't see the hype around the Vikings team that everybody else had after week 1. Even though it was against my team stinks. Daniel Jones is a burger. I'm just going to take the way better team in the matchup.
All right. Next one, as we head into week 2, another one we're going to probably disagree on, I think. Saints heading into Dallas. I think we have two sides here that are going to be a little overreactive on both sides. Saints, obviously, last week were one of my favorite plays of the week, just due to their what they've done the previous couple of years with Derek Carr at home field. Their offense is a top 5 or 6 offense at home last couple of years, and they showed that last week. Dallas, pretty nice win on paper against the Browns. The one thing I have trouble with the Cowboys is I'm not really too sold in their offense yet. They kicked 4 field goals last week. This game could have been blown wide open much more. Didn't convert too well on the offensive side. Dak didn't have a great game. He had an okay game. 19 of 32, 180 yards and a touchdown. Okay. 85 QBR, which is, okay. CeeDee Lamb, 5 for 60, no touchdowns. Brandon Cooks caught that nice pass in the end zone, which was nice. But if you don't put this team away in week 2 at the Saints, I think they have a chance to not even just cover, but pull up the upset. That's why we took Saints +7 when it opened. It's now down to 6.5, 6 at some lines. But here's my problem. We look at the stat sheet last week, stats on paper last week against the Browns. Same amount of first downs as Cleveland. Same amount of time possession. 35 more yards on offense. They had, 30 more passing yards than Cleveland. They had 9 more rushing yards in Cleveland. So it wasn't like we looked at Cleveland last week, like, oh, what a disaster on offense. I mean, Dallas was not much better. Dallas's defense really picked up the load last week on offense in terms of turning the ball over and getting some great field position. And then Dallas did not convert. Dallas kicked 4 field goals last week. So not really sold in this team yet. Obviously, Dallas is going to be Dallas at home week 2 home opener. But I lean the points here at Saints. I have this game by 2. I have this game. What do I have it as? I have Saints losing 24-22. So I lean the over of 46 a tad bit. But yeah, I have the Saints, not backing down on defense. It's an experienced defense. They've been in these types of games before. And I think 7's just a little too much.
I mean, when you were listening up the box score stats, I mean, it's hard to get yards when your offense is just starting at the 20 every single time because Deshaun Watson's giving you the ball there. I'm not like the Cowboys didn't have to do much on offense, so they didn't have to try to push the tempo and try to just air out the ball because Deshaun Watson is a cone and probably gets benched in the next 3 weeks if I had to guess. But I'm on the Cowboys here. Mike McCarthy 4-0 straight up, 3-1 ATS with the Cowboys in week 2. When Dennis Allen is an underdog of a field goal or more, 5-28 straight up. Dude cannot win as an underdog. Derek Carr, surprisingly better as an underdog than as a favorite, but Dak is also really good as a favorite. Another case of overreaction here. The Saints played the Panthers last week, let's remember. The Carolina Panthers. And their passing attack, didn't do a whole lot. Derek Carr only had 200 passing yards. Yeah, they won by a lot, but he wasn't really asked to throw the ball a whole lot. Yeah, they had the deep bomb at the beginning of the game, but otherwise it wasn't super impressive. I think the Panthers are just that historically bad that it made the Saints team look really good. So I'm just going to take the team that has the better coach, better quarterback, better defense here and take the Cowboys.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Speaking of Carolina, we got Chargers at Carolina Panthers. This game, obviously, people were on the Panthers in week 1.
Yeah, I'd like to formally apologize for that. I will not be taking the Panthers in any game, barring injury. I'm going to put that out there right now.
We all make mistakes. Some of us. I don't have this game close. I think we talked about earlier in the week. I don't see this Carolina team putting up many points at all. I see the Chargers team having a better week on offense. I think it's a perfect opportunity for Herbert to light it up on the scoreboard here. I have this game, Chargers 28, Carolina 15. Love the over here. I think it opened up at 39.5. I think it might even drop a little bit. This opened up. Where are we? This opened up at 39. It opened up at 42. It's actually dropped 3 points, which is kind of scary. But I like the over here. I see Chargers put up some points today on offense, and Carolina, yes, struggles on the offensive side of the ball. But if Bryce Young can fling it a little bit, I think they can put up 2 touchdowns, and the rest goes to LA. So I have a comfortable win for LA, starting off the year 2-0 over Mr. Harbaugh, and I have it pretty comfortable, 28-13. So I definitely in charge in this one.
Yeah, I'm not really going to provide any numbers here. The Panthers are just like they probably need to be demoted to like the CFL or something at this point because we can't do this for like another year. It's just take the Chargers.
Not pretty.
Just take the Chargers.
All right, week 2, keep moving here. Jets take on the Titans. Jets coming off a Monday Night Football loss to San Fran. So kind of a short week heading into I'd say tough week 2 matchup. Obviously Tennessee should be 1-0 after that conundrum of a second,
Dude, that thing was so ridiculous, dude. That was my lock of the week. And Will Levis wants to fucking dump mayonnaise coffee all over my fucking face. Throw probably the worst pick 6 I've ever seen. That and the 201 from Thursday are in deep contention for like the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, not good looks there for Mr. Levis. But this line opened up at 4. It stayed right around 4, 3.5 on DraftKings now. I'm pretty sure this will bump up to 4 by kickoff again. But I have the home dog here covering. It was almost a play for us. I have it Jets 23, Tennessee 22. Leading the over there at 42, I think it's at, if I'm not mistaken. Just fact check for 1 second. 41.5, 42, leading the over there. Look, Aaron Rodgers looked good at some points. He obviously looked frazzled-dazzled a little bit when pressure got to him. Could be a problem here for this Tennessee team playing him this week. Also, I think Tennessee's secondary is underrated to start the year. I think it could give a team like the Jets, who, like you and I both agree, throw to basically 2 wide receivers and a running back out of the backfield, and Garrett Wilson, Lazard, and Breece Hall. So I think Jets pull off a win here just because it's Rodgers week 2 against they have the better team on paper. Unfortunately, Shane, I think the Titans team, which we both liked heading into the year, is going to start out 0-2.
I'm giving the Titans one more chance here.
Oh.
Teams to blow a 17-plus point lead and lose are 33-23 straight up the next week since 1990, with the over being 34-21-1. So, I've noticed, like, when looking over stats over time, a weird trend I've seen is that when 2 good defenses play each other, the over hits, which is, you wouldn't think that, and both these teams, I think, have good defenses. We saw flashes of the Jets offense, even though they only just threw to the left side of the field when Rodgers was out there. We got to work on that. Will Levis also just needs to learn how to take a sack and not underhand fling the ball right to a defender to lead to a pick 6. Teams coming off of Monday Night Football on the road, having to play on the road again, are 12-21 straight up, 13-20 ATS over the last decade, which is the Jets. Teams to have 25 minutes of possession or less in week 1, also the Jets. 8-23 straight up and 6-25 ATS. I feel like the Titans have a sneaky home field advantage whenever they're playing at home over the years. I don't know if that was just because they just relied on Derrick Henry a lot or what, but I think this is kind of my last straw with the Titans. I don't need them to win. I need them to just not look like whatever the fuck that offense looked like last week. Because if the offense just looks like that, I'm off the wagon. I'm gonna have to find a new team to be the sneaky playoff team because this is not it. But I mean, you're giving the Titans at home 3.5 points. I feel like that's just ludicrous. 4.5, depending on whatever book you have. They're getting points at home in this matchup. And the Jets didn't look overly impressive on Monday Night Football. Yeah, they were playing the Niners, but their run defense is Swiss cheese, it looks like. And then the pass game seems limited because Rodgers was only targeting 3 dudes.
For sure.
So I'm gonna rock the home team.
I don't hate it, man. I really don't. Like I said, I have a 1 point game here, 23-22 Jets, which means it could go either way at this point. Yeah, I leave the points here. I like the points at home dog. Levis probably has something to prove here in week 2 after what he did in that second. Oh my god, I can't even think about what he did in the second half. Just gives me a headache. But yeah, either way, I think it's a close game. And in close games, I'd rather have the points down the stretch. So Titans +4 and the over of 41 or 42. I lean here today in Tennessee. All right. Colts taking on the Packers in Green Bay.
Game of the week.
Game of the week.
I have 2 locks of the week in this game.
You just said game of the week.
Two locks of the week.
Well, before we get into that, I don't have a number for this game because it didn't calculate with Jordan Love out. I didn't want to put Malik Willis in there, so
nobody does.
Not much data to go off that, so I don't have a number for this game. But this line opened at 3. It's now down to 2.5. Okay, so I don't even know what to say about this game. It doesn't look good for the Colts with the line movement. Man, if they lose this game, not good. But yeah, obviously Malik Willis, not definitely, but highly likely starting this game. I don't even know why Jordan Love is even ruled doubtful. Just rule him out.
He's not even going to address.
Yeah, why? I don't know why they do that. Playing games, I guess.
They had some optimism that he's going to play this week. He's not playing this week.
So, the line being as weird as it is usually tells me if it's a weird line, take the weird line. And this line going down to 2.5 right before as we head into kickoff here is telling me to take Green Bay somehow. And I don't know if that's through the run game or if that's through Malik Willis just not turning the ball over and playing game manager. But that's really all I have for this game. Obviously better quarterbacks with the Colts today. Probably better run game with the Colts today. Defensively, probably lean Green Bay at home. This one's tough. I'm going to stay off this one in general. Like I said, I have no number, no total here, but definitely interesting.
Yeah, this is Operation Full Fade on Malik Willis season. This dude is an absolute. I don't even know. Like cone isn't even the word to describe him. He is like literally nothing. He has never thrown for over 100 yards in a game as a starter. Has never thrown for a passing touchdown as a starter or at all in the NFL. Colts are 6-1 ATS in week 2 since 2017. I'm just the Colts. Like the Packers are my Super Bowl team, and I'm having them start 0-2, due to unforeseen circumstances, of course. But any chance to bet against Malik Willis, you should take. He's never thrown for over 100 yards in the game, and his prop is at like 167 yards. So you're telling me he's going to do close to 70 yards better than he's ever done in his career because he's on the Packers? The Packers don't have like an elite weapon to rely on in the passing game. They have just a bunch of dudes, which is pretty much what he had in Tennessee, a bunch of dudes. It's almost like identical to the situation. You have a running back you want to lean on, Josh Jacobs in this situation, Derrick Henry when it was in Tennessee, and a bunch of dudes. He can't throw the ball. So I'm not going to take a team that has a quarterback that can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So
I definitely understand. I don't understand the line movement. I don't understand how it's only a 3-point game. You're saying this is Colts by a field goal here. Something's off.
I mean, if the Colts were at home, it's like 6-point spread. I don't think that's crazy.
I guess. I think it's a little bit more than that, to be honest, with how Malik Willis has played.
I think the news of Jordan Love potentially playing may have spiked that line because some people were like, "Oh, he's not ruled out. Oh, they have optimism he might be able to play. Let's bet on him because they're plus points in the situation. You get Jordan Love plus points at home. Are you serious?" Yeah. And then no, it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. Weird line for me. Like I said, I don't have a number for this game, but definitely a weird.
If the Colts lose this game, this is a gimme game. If they lose this game, this might rival the Bengals Patriots last week. even though the point spread doesn't show it, it's gonna rival it.
Yeah. Speaking of high point spread, this line keeps going up and up and up and up. This line opened, I think, at a reasonable line here. This line opened at 6.5. It is now -8 at circa. Actually, opened at 5.5 for looks like it to be like about 20 minutes. Jumped right to 6, 6.5, 7, down to 6.5, 7, 7.5. Now up to 8 this morning. It changed 8 a.m. this morning. Changed to -8. I see some points here in this one. I have this game 25-23 Detroit. Actually, under the total. I'm sorry. 25-23 Detroit, under the total of 51. Puts that at 48 total points. Close game, I think, for this one, but I think Detroit pulls it out. Obviously, at home, big advantage for them in their dome. Back-to-back home games is a good trend for those teams, I'm going to guess, too. But Tampa Bay's offense coming off a really good week one. I know it's Commanders. But Baker looks good. I mean, I guess he has a bunch of confidence heading into week two. So I think they keep it kind of close heading into this one. 8's a lot of points, I think, for the offense who looked pretty good in week one.
Yeah, what scares me, I like the Bucks with the points here, but all the numbers say to not go with the Bucks and the points, which is scaring me. If anything, for the totals of 50 plus with Dan Campbell are 9-5 to the under. So I mean, I feel like the under would be the play in this game. We saw these teams play in the playoffs last year. It was a good game. We saw the Bucks last week look like the best offense in football. Baker Mayfield was slinging it. He was the best quarterback of week one. We know that Jared Goff indoor stats. He's a monster in a dome. It just feels like with these two teams having more than a touchdown, you just take the team that's getting the points. But if this spread was like 3 or 4, it was like 4, I would be 4 or 5 hammering the Lions. But that being 7.5, I feel like you got to be. I don't want to say a fool, but like if you're getting a team that's like playoff caliber getting over a touchdown against another playoff caliber team, you just take the points.
Yeah, I mean, it crossed the key number of 7. Like last year, we talked about key numbers in football: 3, 7, 10, 14, 17, 21, 24. It crossed the key number of 7, so that's a huge tell that, sharps are on this team pretty heavy in Detroit. It's just hard for me to take late at 7.5 now. It means you got to win by 2 scores. It's tough, really tough. I know the right side is going to be Detroit here because of where this line has gone. I have no play on it. No money is involved here. Neither did my guys over at my VIP have anything on this game. The best bet for me is probably the under. I'm pretty sure this under has jumped right along with the side here too. Detroit. It's at 51.5, open at 48.5, so it's jumped over 50 too. So yeah, it's tough. A lot of over money, a lot of over respected money, a lot of Detroit respected money. So I would be surprised if this team, has a great game, but I think it's going to be somewhat tight. Just from what my numbers say in terms of total, I lean the under. So, yeah, should be a decent game at 1 o'clock window, I think. All right, Seattle taking on my New England Patriots in week 2. Some injury news. Obviously, Ken Walker ruled out or doubtful at this point, pretty much ruled out. Which obviously a huge advantage to New England. Not something we don't have to worry about now in Ken Walker, which is, arguably top 6-7 back in the league. We're at the rip train with Ken Walker. I had this Pats winning by 1. I know you're not going to like that, which is fine. That's why we have a show. But I have this New England 19, Seattle 18, lean the under 40 pretty well there. Listen, Pat's defense looked pretty good last week. Obviously, they played the depleted Bengals team. But Joe Burrow, even with somewhat of a lackluster wide receiver core, still should put up decent numbers, I think. That's how he is as a quarterback. He did not. Yes, Shane's going to say Bengals start off slow. We know this. But if Patriots don't turn the ball over if they play solid defense, they're gonna have a chance to win this game. Seattle traveling cross country, coming off a home win where they looked pretty bad the first half, finished strong in the second half, which is good for them. But I think New England pulls it out. Like I said, I have 19-18 New England getting 3.5 here. We bet it at 3.5. And yeah, with the injury news of Ken Walker, I think it's even better for him. So I'm going to take the home dog here. No bias at all, really.
There's just no world where the Patriots start 2-0. I just can't see it. Like the Bengals, like they scored 10 points. They left so many points on the field. They had a touchdown where the dude tried to do like a Euro step and fumbled the ball at the goal line. Mike Gesicki had a wide open touchdown that he couldn't bring in. So I'm not as worried about the Bengals as everybody else is. Like everybody's already writing them off. Like let's calm down. 35 teams have been underdogs of 3 points or more in week 1, and then be underdogs of 3 or more in week 2. And those teams are 6-29 straight up. As a road favorite of 3 or more, Geno Smith 4-0 straight up in his career. You brought up the Seattle traveling a lot. That's just them every year, just because of where they are on the map. They're just in the fucking top left of the nation, so they're always having to travel all over the place. I just think this Seahawks team is better in probably every facet. Like I think their secondary is better than the Patriots because you have Treacle and Devon Witherspoon. Maybe your defensive line's better. I'll give the Patriots defensive line better. Offensive line, your offensive line's doo-doo. Hot cross doo-doo. The Seahawks allowing 2 safeties and a half last week, a little worrisome, but that's not going to happen every week. Even without Kenneth Walker, that's a huge blow. They still have like Charbonnet who can fill in. I'm not worried about him like dragging the run game. You have 3 solid wide receivers and a tight end for Seattle. I like the under in this game a lot. I don't see a whole lot of points either, but I'm just going to ride Seattle here because I think that this team is very underrated for this year.
Okay. Speaking of hot garbage, Giants
other game
the Commanders. I have this game tight. I have this game Commanders 23, Giants 22. So leading the over there, I think it was 43.5 when it opened. This is now at 43. So leading the over there, 2 just brutal defenses in general. 2, we don't know what Daniels is, but we know what Daniel Jones is, and that is putrid. Sorry, Shane, but yeah. Like I said, Commanders by 1 here. The line's 1.5. Not much value there, so I do lean it over here just because of 2 putrid defenses.
Like, I really don't want to say that I'm taking the Giants here, but I am. Like, I really don't.
I think you had them last week too.
Yeah, I did, but that was a crapshoot. But like the bringing up of teams or players historically dominating other teams, I take that into serious consideration. Like Josh Allen owns the Dolphins. We were all over the Bills. The Patriots own the Jets. I'm taking the Patriots in at least one of those games. Daniel Jones is 5-1-1 straight up and 6-1 ATS in his career versus Washington. He can't beat anybody else but Washington. This Washington team's also just a bunch of misfits coming together from Dan Quinn's history book on defense. The Commanders, we think the Giants defense is bad. We think the Cardinals defense is bad. The Commanders, I think, are going to have the worst defense in football. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts. Their first-round corner from a year ago already got benched, and he's already hurt. They don't really have anybody to pass rush. They have defensive tackles, so, Devin Singletary with whatever he was going to do anyways just didn't whittle, so he's going to have 20 yards per usual. Malik Neighbors, I think, has a day today. He looked impressive week 1. I don't think there's any corner on Washington that can hold him. It's just a matter of Daniel Jones not throwing it to the other team, which, he's probably going to end up throwing 2 picks again today. But I'm just going to side with history here. The Giants have historically done well against the Commanders, so I'm just going to take the Giants here, and they're getting points.
All right. Moving right along here. Better game. My favorite game. Actually, I wouldn't say favorite game. Favorite bet of the week is this one right here. This is my favorite VIP play I put out Sunday night. I'm surprised the line hasn't moved much at all, but we are on the Jaguars -3 here at home against Cleveland. I have this game, Jags by a touchdown. Let me pull up the exact score here for you. I have this game, Jacksonville 27, Cleveland 20. Heavy lean to the over there. I think it's at 41. Jacksonville.
I had 41 and a
41
half
and a
when I
half.
did my write up.
Yeah. So I lean the over there, and I love Jacksonville today. Like we talked about earlier, Deshaun. I mean, just a shit show in Cleveland right now. In terms of turning the ball over, in terms of noise outside the stadium now with another allegation. I think his confidence is lacking a lot. And now you're going against a defense who held Tua and that program down pretty much to 0 in the first half and should have walked out of Miami with a win, but Trevor Lawrence and Mr. Peterson wanted to play it safe, stop playing aggressive in the late second half, and basically just give the game up to Tua. I am not afraid of this Cleveland offense whatsoever. I'm not afraid of Deshaun. I think Jacksonville smothers this awful passing game. And I think it's going to rely on a lot on Jerome Ford today. And if they allow him to win the game, then they had no chance to begin with. So I'll take the better quarterback. I'll take the better coach, I think, in my opinion. I'll take the better running back. I'll take the better wide receiver team. Yeah, I'm going to take the home team here, laying the 3 points. Pretty simple.
Yeah, I like the Jaguars here. Stefanski's 0-4 ATS coaching in week 2. He's just not a week 2 guy. And Deshaun Watson is probably going to be out of the league in a couple months. I think he's just going to be sent to the shadow realm. He's gone. We're going to get to see some Jameis Winston, hopefully. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe the Browns take a resurgence like they did with Joe Flacco last year with Jameis airmailing the ball down the field. But Jaguars, they gave the win to the Dolphins last week. I don't see them do it again this week. And the Browns I was already down on this year, and they're kind of proving my point. I'll take Trevor Lawrence to get his first win of the season.
Picked him week 1.
Who are they? No, I had the Cowboys. Didn't I? I don't remember who I had.
No.
Oh no, I didn't. Oh yeah, that was yeah. So, well, okay, that was more of a Dak.
I'm just busting the ball.
Browns.
Keep going. You're good.
I like that pause. Yeah, Watson just needs to go, dude. That was so bad.
Brutal. Sad to watch because we know what he used to be. And used to be, 2 years. He was a top 10 quarterback. Looked like the Texans were going to be good for a long time in the playoffs every year. And then he started doing some bad stuff outside of the stadium. And it's ruined his probably confidence. It's ruined his mindset. And it's looks like it's ruined his career in general. So, unfortunately, that's how life works sometimes. But, yeah, in terms of betting and making money today, I think Jags is the best bet on the board. Like I said, I have this game as a touchdown game, 27-20 Jacksonville. This Cleveland Browns team defense does not travel. Shannon looked at it this week, but their defense on the road was not good last year. It was mid at best, giving up a bunch of points. Most of that probably leads towards quarterback play last year, but this year's quarterback play has not looked much better. So lean heavily on the Jags today. My favorite play of the weekend. So, all right. Last couple of games are pretty good here. Rams at the Cardinals. I think we'll agree on this one. This line has flipped. This line opened up Rams, I believe, -1.5, maybe even -2. It gets all the way up to Cardinals -1.5, and now it's heading back towards LA. It's now at Pick'em at Circa. It just changed recently. But yep, opened up -2.5 in August. And then on September 9th, it was still at 2.5, dropped to 1. Then it flipped past the 0 line and went the other way. And now it's coming back towards the Rams. So this line's heading towards a pick'em. which can't really disagree with. I have the Cardinals winning this one 26-24 in a shootout. I think we see right around 50 points in this one, and the total sits at right around 48. So, yeah, leading the over here of 48 in that one. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I think Kyler Murray looked pretty good in week 1 against a much better Bills defense than what he's going to see today in LA. I think Kyler could have a field day, Shane, especially throwing the ball today. I think Marvin Harrison has a good game today. Home opener against a lackluster at best secondary. I'm not too thrilled with how the Rams played defense on last Sunday. So yeah, I like the Cardinals here. I have the Cardinals 26-24 and a 2-point win, and I see a bunch of points.
Yeah, I'm on the other side, buddy. Sorry to break the news to you. Again, what I mentioned earlier during the Giants game, historical data proves all. Sean McVay, 27-17-1 ATS versus divisional opponents. McVay, 12-2-1 ATS versus the Cardinals in his career. Rams are 5-1 straight up, 4-2 ATS on the road in the first 2 weeks of the season under Sean McVay, and they lost last week. So before last week, it was 5-0 and 4-1. Kyler Murray 1-8 straight up, 1-7-1 ATS against the Rams in his career. So historically, Rams have the Cardinals number. Better QB arm talent, I'm giving to the Rams. Stafford over Kyler. We know what Stafford can do. I think better head coach, obviously. Better defense, we think. I'm putting we think because this Rams defense could be very suspect. They were able to hold Amon-Ra to like nothing last week. So if they do that again to Marvin Harrison, can't wait to see everybody cry about people having Marvin Harrison in fantasy if he has another dud game. So I'm getting points with the Rams. I think they see that they lost.
You're getting a point to no points.
I just still think they're the better team overall. Like, I'm down on the Rams, but I think that in this spot against a team that they've historically owned, I'm just going to take them.
Just want to remind all of you watching this that the Cardinals had the ball in Bills territory to almost beat the Bills last week.
Oh, and then Kyler Murray couldn't throw it to the wide open.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So that you're this is also proving a point to me here. He had wide open Marvin Harrison and triple covered 5'8" Greg Dortch, and he threw it up to 5'8" Greg Dortch.
Hey, I'm not saying I made the right throw. I'm just saying they had the chance of winning that game in Buffalo. Buffalo is now 2-0 after,
dominating the Dolphins.
Just saying. All right, Bengals, Chiefs. Now, this would be typically game of the week. It could still be game of the week. Bengals off a week 1 blunder against the Patriots. This line on Sunday was right around 6. It's jumped back and forth between 6, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 6, 5.5. So right around that 6 number is where you're going to get here. I have this game right on 6. And I'll give you the exact score I have for this one. I was actually surprised that it spit out 6. Let's see. I have this game 24-18 Kansas City. Under the total here. I think both defenses step up. Now, the issue I have with Cincinnati is this is a totally different scheme than week 1 they're going to face. Obviously, very fast offense with Xavier Worthy showing up, Rashid Rice, Isaiah Pacheco. So very fast. Don't know how that defense is going to line up with them. But I think the defensive leadership and the DC on both sides find a game plan. These teams are very familiar with each other. And I think the total is still there, 48 now. So, yeah, I lean the under there pretty heavily. And I'd probably lean the points here of the 6, 6.5. Just because you're giving Burrow 6, 6.5 against a team he's basically, not dominated, but has played really good against. Shane's going to spit out some numbers for me. I don't have in front of me pretty soon. But, yeah, I like the points here. Not in love with it. It's obviously not a play for me, but I do kind of love the under.
I'm going out on a limb here.
Yeah, here we go.
I am going with the Cincinnati Bengals to
Oh,
cover
boy.
it and win the game.
Let's hear it, pal.
So before I jump to the numbers, Chiefs are not going to go 17-0. Let's get that out
Obviously
of the way.
not. No.
They're not. We got to pick them to lose some games here. Joe Burrow is a guy that we tend to see plays up and down to opponents.
Mhm.
Like we saw him against the Patriots, absolute doo-doo. I showed you the stat the other day. He's like 0-5 against Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield, but he's 5-1 against Allen and Mahomes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Joe Burrow, 26-14-1 straight up versus non-AFC opponents. He's 10-2 ATS when an underdog of more than 4 points.
He's facing an AFC opponent.
As a non-AFC North opponent.
Oh, okay.
He's 10-2 ATS when an underdog of more than 4 points. 4-1 straight up, 5-0 ATS with Jamar Chase in the lineup. Last time I checked, he is playing.
Yeah, he'll play.
Joe Burrow is 14-6-1 after ATS after a straight up loss, including 9-2-1 ATS in September and October, and 10-3 ATS on the road in those situations. 8-2 ATS after a straight up loss when scoring fewer than 20 points. I think the under hits in this game. I think the under's hit in like all the games that these two teams have played. I believe he is 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes just can't beat the good quarterbacks in the regular season. Come playoff time, it's a completely different story, different environment. But in the regular season, he can't really do it. I mean, he just beat Lamar, but Lamar still has a good record against him in the regular season, at least. Josh Allen has his number regular season. Burrow has his number regular season. I think this is a sneaky shot for a rare time to go against the Chiefs here. And you're giving Burrow almost a touchdown. I think he can.
Has he never played in Kansas City?
Yeah, he has. Because remember when they wanted to call it Burrowhead? Because he beat them in the playoffs. I think he beat them. I think he beat them in the playoffs in Kansas City, and that's what the year they went to the Super Bowl.
I'm trying to pull up his.
I believe the year they went to the Super Bowl, they went to Kansas City and beat.
I think you're right.
Beat Kansas City in overtime.
All right. So Bengals at Chiefs one time since 2019, and that was December of 2023, and he did not play. What are we missing here? Are we missing something?
Are you just looking at regular season games?
He played in 20. I don't know if that was Joe Burrow. That was
January 30th, 2022. He was at Kansas City and won.
January 30th, 2022?
Yep. And I believe that should be that's the AFC Championship game when they won 27-24.
27-24. Yep. I don't know why that didn't pop up.
And they were down 21-3 in that game, and then they came back and won.
Yeah, they won the fourth second half in overtime for 17-3. They held Chiefs to 3 points in the second half. Wow. Joe Burrow went 23 of 38, 250, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Mahomes had a bad game that day. 26 of 39, 275, 3 touchdowns, 2 turnovers. And that was with Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. So obviously different Chiefs team now. Very, very fast. Not like stupid fast, which is a concern for me with this Bengals team. Yeah, I like the points here in the under. I think it's pretty. I don't know why it isn't Sunday Night Football.
Because I'd rather have Caleb Williams there.
I doubt it.
Well, that's
yeah.
there.
Points in the under for this one. All right, this game. Yeesh. Steelers at Denver. All right, obviously Ross coming back to Denver. Is he still game time?
Justin Fields is playing.
Okay, I'm
pretty sure it's Justin Fields is playing.
Because Russ is a bitch. So I have this game as a pick'em. This line opened at 3. I should have took the 3. It's now down to 2.5. Didn't take the 3. I think Denver pulls it out.
Same.
I think they win in a very close, ugly scoring game, 19-18 Denver. The total is like right on the money there. I think at 37. 36 and a half, 37. So I basically right in the number there. But yeah, I think Denver pulls it out. I think Bo Nix gets his week 2 win. Pittsburgh traveling cross country, not ideal after being on the road in week 1 in Atlanta. A lot of traveling there for a team with little to no identity, I think, on offense with Justin Fields playing. Justin Fields on the road. I'm sure Shane has some numbers on that, which probably aren't pretty. But yeah, I'm going to go Denver 19, Pittsburgh 18, lean the under.
I don't have the numbers directly here for Justin Fields in particular, but he's like 11-30 in his career as a starter. Let's throw that one out there. Broncos home games are 47-29-1 to the under since 2015. So it might feel gross taking an under of 36.5, but these teams can't play offense, and the Broncos we think historically can play defense. I don't know if that's that team anymore, and we know the Steelers' defense is pretty good. Sean Payton, there's numbers that are bad for the coaches both sides here. Sean Payton 4-12 in week 2 as a head coach ATS. Mike Tomlin 32-40-2 ATS is a road favorite. The altitude is going to be there for Denver. Big altitude coming in. I'm just going to side with the team getting points here. This is 2 putrid offenses, and it's going to be a slow game. I'm just going to take the Broncos.
Trying to look at the stats. So he is 3-3 his last 6 in the road, including last week. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't think Fields has enough to get done on the road in this environment. Tough environment to play. Traveling cross country, like I said. So I think it's a good matchup for Denver here. So yeah, I have Denver 19, Pittsburgh 18 in the under. All right, Sunday Night Football. We have the Chicago Bears taking on the Houston Texans. This line has pretty much stayed put for most of the week. Opened Sunday at 6.5, went down to 6 for a little bit, and then popped right back up to 6.5. Total is sitting at 45. What do I have this one at? I have this game somewhat of a close one, and surprising that I have that, to be honest with you. I have it 26-22 Houston. The over of 46. Yes, I know it's prime time. Yes, I know prime time unders, but we're going to a total of 48. Total sitting at 45, 45.5. So I lean the dog here. I don't love it at all. And because rookie quarterback on Sunday Night Football off a win he should not have gotten. He looked awful on offense. I think his quarterback rating was like 33. Facing a team that's going to sling it on the field, the better quarterback, my opinion, the better coach, better wide receiver room. Dunze's hurt. Keenan Allen hurt that foot again. So he's in question here. But yeah, numbers say 26-22 Chicago, leaning the over of 46. I mean, 26-22 Houston, the over of 45.5, 46.
Yeah, we're fading Caleb Williams here.
Rookie
quarterbacks are 25-57 straight up on the road in primetime since 1970. We just saw this offense last week look abysmal. I know it could be an overreaction. The Titans defense might just be great. Your receivers are banged up coming into this game. Odunze just got ruled able to play. Keenan Allen still banged up. Don't know what the hell they're doing at tight end. It looks like Cole Kmet's being sent to the side and Gerald Everett's the starter. DeAndre Swift is a cone as a running back. They have the defense, but can they stop Diggs, Tank Dell, and Nico? I don't really see it. Joe Mixon was a monster on the ground last week. And the Bears defense wasn't great against the run last week. Tony Pollard was going to lose a little bit. So Mixon could have another big game. like you said, better quarterback, better coach. Not the better defense, but I think it's not a terrible defense for the Texans. All the momentum is with the Texans. I know the Bears are happy that they won, but they can't be happy with how they won, putting up no touchdowns as an offense. Not able to do anything the whole game. I'm just going to take the overall way better team here.
Yeah, don't blame you. Again, don't like the number here at all. What I put out. Definitely because of the unknown of what we have in Caleb, in that offense in general. We have 1 week to go off that, and then the past year or two with Eberflus and that whole system. So yeah, I could definitely see a blowout here. I mean, the model says 26-22. I'm not in love with that, or else I would have played it. Yeah, I do see some points here. I could see a couple big plays about Chicago, especially if the wide receiver room is fully healthy, and then Texans are going to put up points because that's who they are. They're good quarterback, good wide receiver room, good running game now with Mixon. So definitely a team to be reckoned with in the AFC this year. So all right, that's going to do it for Sunday week 2. We'll definitely be posting a video on the Monday Night Football between the Eagles and the Falcons. Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. I have some interesting stats for that one too, and that will be posted on Monday. But yeah, guys, appreciate the support. We love coming on here and talking football. That's what Shane lives for in general. And it's week 2, man, flying by. 2 weeks of the NFL season are done. 15 more to go. And we'll catch you back right here next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, every Sunday for the Money Backers Show. Thanks, guys.